Welcome back to the Eye. With me is Monte Sorensen from Bayer. Monte, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Obviously, this is the Potato Expo, and what everybody wants to hear are what are the concerns that potato growers have today, and what's being done to help them have better yield, better tasting potatoes, bigger potatoes, all the things that these growers and farmers are looking for.
Sure. Yeah, one of the great things about working for Bayer and just Bayer as a company is that we have sales reps and people across the state, so we can get a different view from different areas to kind of get an overview of problems that growers are hearing. For instance, this year, if we start in Washington on the West Coast, bug issues, right? So aphids, ligus.
And is that because of the drought or the water? What's creating those?
You know, bugs are different. Sometimes they'll show up, sometimes they won't. It also depends on what the different spray programs are. So spraying one thing may cause something else to flare. So we go from bugs in Washington down to Idaho. The bigger thing that we heard this year were diseases. So white mold, early blight. And then as we move across the U.S., one of the consistent messages we heard, or one of the consistent problems that we heard, was about nematodes.
Right.
So that was kind of the overarching issue that we heard a lot about this year.
So let's talk about, you've got a plot of land, you find one of these diseases or bugs, and how long does it take for the farmer to be able to cure his crop? Or does that crop have to be destroyed and wait, different cycles, different growing cycles, and clean the soil?
Yeah, a lot of it obviously depends on the grower, but what we try to provide at Bayer are solutions so that when they do find an issue, that they're able to solve it quickly if they can. For instance, with nematodes, one of the things that we talked about, or one of the issues we saw, we've got a great product in called Vellum Prime. So great nematicide, really efficacious, and it's new. So it's a lower rate product, and it has a great safety profile, so it's safer for the grower to apply for them or their applicator. And we've been really excited and got really good positive feedback from the growers that have been able to use it so far.
So obviously potatoes are one of those crops that you really have to be very careful of because there's lots of things that go on.
Sure.
If you take a look at the consumer trends that are out there now, that people want more transparency, that people want, to be quote unquote as organic as possible, not realizing that organics can have pesticides on them.
Sure.
and so on. What are the questions that you're getting from growers that they feel that consumers need to know, and how, if at all, are you changing your portfolio to meet those consumer needs?
Yeah, really good question. We've done a couple of things at Bayer. One of the things that we've provided to our growers is a program called Grow On. And what that's basically done is it provides them talking points about our different products in regards to different pieces that people would relate back to sustainability. So water, for instance, greenhouse gases, those types of things. So they can have some brief snippets, if you will, so that if someone asks them, hey, what are you doing for sustainability? They have a couple of answers, just quick in their pocket that they can then answer. From an organic perspective, we not only have synthetic chemistry, but we also do have some organic products that are OMRI certified in our portfolio. Serenade being one of those products that has really helped out the portfolio and helps those growers that want to service that community.
And do you see that community rising, or do more growers want to go into organics? Because we hear mixed stories.
Sure.
Certainly from a consumer standpoint, everybody wants organics, but nobody wants to pay for organics.
Sure.
And then we hear these great stories about these little farmers who have, a field about the size of this table who have gone organic, and then we don't hear about the farm that has 100,000 acres that's not organic.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm the best person to answer that question. I guess from what I've seen, there's a niche that they seem to be filling, and there appears to be a choice there for organic versus conventional farming, if you will. Consumers that are trending that way obviously would like growers that can grow organic crops. But I think there's still a larger opportunity for us as an agricultural community to educate the consumers as well as everybody on what the value is in conventional agriculture as well.
So when you look at the future, what are some of the challenges that you see? I mean, for me, with agriculture, one of the big challenges, and I'm certainly not a scientist, is climate change.
Sure.
When I look at what's going on, I've got to think that it's much harder for a farmer, and I live in California, to go through the drought and then fires and then try to grow
Sure.
grow food on it.
Right.
So how does a company like Bayer help the farmer cope with those issues?
Yeah, I think, going back to the grow on message that we talked a little bit about earlier, one of the key pieces in there was water, and greenhouse gases. And two of the things that we've really done there, if you look at a product like Vellum Prime, going back to that, where it has a low use rate, so less effort to get it across the field. And then when you're protecting that potato plant early from the nematodes, it's going to have better root quality, so it should be more efficient using the water that's already in the soil, hopefully helping to use less water. If you can solve those problems earlier in the season, hopefully it leads to less trips, which leads to less greenhouse gases and less fuel going across the fields.
Well, Monte, thanks so much. Appreciate you being here and giving us an education on that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your time as well.
Very important.
Thanks.
So, I'm Phil Lempert. We're at the Eye, live at the Potato Expo 2018. Check out all the interviews that we did all day yesterday. We're doing all day today. We're doing tomorrow as well. They're right here on our Facebook Live page. So stream them, learn from them, and please comment.